Oh god, there we go. There's a good thumbnail. Oh boy. Yeah, so I've got a lot of records here from the past little bit. Ugh. Whew. Yeah, so when I said that I wasn't going to be buying any more records lately, that was a lie. Yeah, so I'm going to go through these chronologically instead of my usual order that I like to go through, where I do, you know, the used records first and then the re-released and then the new records and that kind of thing. I'm going to go chronologically of when I got them, just because there's so many here and a lot of them kind of have a story behind them. So I'm going to put these back down so they're not crushing my lap there. So the first three aren't necessarily all that new, and I already talked about them a little bit. And those were the three that I got from High One. Videos there, it's the unboxing. They were gracious enough to give me these albums pretty much for free, as long as I talked about their items. So that was All Over Everything, Inner Fragments Decay. That is Birds and Buildings. What is that? Banatam to Behemoth. And then finally, the Deluge and Grandeur. So very fun. I like the picture disc quality of these guys. You know, each album itself has like a little bit of that fun thing. Anyway, if you want to see all those, you can check out the video that I did for them almost last month. Anyway, next up, so I went through my DVD collection and I purged quite a bit of them, did the whole Spark Joy thing, and with the money that I got from the record store that I sold them to, I was able to pick up a couple other albums, and the first one that I picked up was the Neo Oblivious Scaries album of, which one? Earn. I actually really like this album. I listened to their first or second album, The Citadel, I think it was. I didn't quite gravitate towards it as much as I did with Earn. So I picked it up in physical format and really liked it. I like how each side is just a different song. Even though, I mean, not all songs are all that long, but still. Yay! I've got Devin Townsend's Empath. This shouldn't come as a surprise at all. I got the magenta album of it, so I'm going to show you that right here for you. Been loving this album, by the way. Loving this album. And I love the presentation in terms of the physical format of how it's divided. It pretty much divided itself exactly as I had pictured it. So I love when that all kind of comes together, because nothing bothers me more than having an album chopped up in a way that doesn't really make sense. So you got the front, you got the gatefold there. There's just a lot going on like it does on the album, and then there's the back. So next up, we've got some classical releases, because I found a classical music store here in Toronto, so I wanted to go and check them out. So I picked up a few. The first up, I wanted the Planets. So I finally picked up the Planets, and I love how glossy and shiny this is. It reminds me of like the holographic cards that I would get way back when. So it's Holtz, the Planet. Then I picked up a pretty cheap copy of Symphony No. 5 from Ludwig van Beethoven. It's kind of fun. I really like that. And then finally I got Green Sleeves, folk song arrangements. Really enjoyed this one. This was just kind of a fun little background music kind of thing, and I think it was only like $1 or $2. So next up, a couple of weeks ago, I had a crazy couple of weeks in terms of like the amount of shows I was going to. And I finally was able to see Baroness, and Baroness had a couple of vinyls for sale, so I picked up their red vinyl and their blue vinyl. And it's funny because I was over here with Travis and Shane from Sudbury. Travis's channel, he just did a travelogue, so I'll link that also right there so you can check that out. Anyway, we listened to this because they came the day after I saw the show, and they're pressed in 45, and we were listening to them on 33 1/3, and I'm like, wow, they're really guttural when they, because I knew I hadn't really listened in depth to these guys, and I was like, wow, they're like really getting like the low growls, the lo-fi, like that low tone. And it wasn't until I think halfway through the second album, I can't remember if it was the blue album or the red album, where we actually figured out, after listening to the other one all the way through, that, oh yeah, these are 45s. So that was fun. Anyway, little story there. Oh, and I guess I should actually show you the vinyl itself, because the vinyl is pretty, holy jeez. I mean, that's kind of worth the price of admission alone. So here's the blue album, and both albums are pretty much the same. So it's the half and half speckled. Really kind of like that. And the red album is pretty much the same, but I'll show you anyway. And then here's the red, so half and half speckled. Yeah, it's kind of fun. I like that. Finding a lot more albums are doing this, by the way. I know it's probably just a cash grab. In my live stream Q&A last night, somebody had asked me if where I felt on all this. I'm like, I honestly don't hear a difference, but my turntable is such a Frankensteinian conglomeration or enterprise that it's not really the best in terms of trying to figure out if it sounds good or not. So while Travis and Shane were here in Toronto, we went to a couple used record stores, and we both kind of picked up a number of different albums. This is more of a completionist than anything else. So I finally picked up King Crimson's Beat and King Crimson's Three of a Perfect Pair. So that kind of completes the 80s trilogy of King Crimson's items. So after that, I did a road trip up to North Bay where there was a kind of a record event going on, and one of my best friends of all time is up there, so it gave me an excuse to hang out with her. So while I was there, I spent a little bit of money at the record show. So this is what I got at the record show there, and these are all used. So first up, we've got Tchaikovsky. Oh man, I can never pronounce any of these names. Anyway, a bunch of really great Russian composers. So we've got Tchaikovsky's 1812 Overture. Then we've got the Unusual Classical Synthesizer. This was a lot of fun. Yeah, this is kind of in that wave in the 80s and 70s of the synthesizers coming in, and so people just doing classical renditions on the synths. Really a lot of fun. I love these guys. So the next one I've got is Tomata. And I'm probably butchering that. The Spacewalk, The Impressions of an Astronaut. Whenever I see anything by Tomata, I have to pick it up because I love his work. And I hadn't actually seen this one before, so really excited to kind of dive in and listen to this. And then, I'm excited. I got Phantom of the Paradise on vinyl. I still need to actually watch the video. I keep trying to find it at the local library or the library that I work at. So yeah, this will be fun. I haven't actually heard it yet, but I'm really excited to kind of dive in and listen to that. And then, if anybody's up in North Bay, you have to check out Waxman. He has these mystery packs, so I purchased one of them, and each it's only about $3, and half the time it's just finding out what you get in them. And this one, I think I hit the jackpot. I want to show you guys what I found in this one. So yeah, it comes in a brown paper bag. You don't know what it's in. You open it up, and out come about 4 albums. So I've got the Piano Concerto No. 1 from Brahms from Meta New York Philharmonic. This was a lot of fun. Then, this one's probably my favorite. The Claude Dupras. I want to say it's Dupres, but it's probably Dupras. Conducts the Yamaha organs. This is just fun. This is just way too much fun. I friggin' love this album. This is gonna be like a heavy rotation one. Then we've got Brodin. I think it's Brodin. Symphony No. 2. So that's kind of fun. I love the classical. And then finally, we've got Listen to Us, The Churchman. So I think that's a pretty good mystery pack for me. I mean, this is right up my alley. So definitely money well spent for only $3. Yeah, so my friend works in the library. And I think, again, they were selling these for 50 cents. So we have Catherine McKinnon, The Voice of an Angel. I thought that was a lot of fun. And, of course, Holiday Greetings. Because I love, unironically, just ridiculous Christmas music. So there's a lot of stuff here, and it's a lot of really fun things. So, I mean, with songs like Fum Fum Fum, Ding Dong, yeah, it's going to be great. So, and just look at that picture. That is such a fun picture. I love it. Okay, so finally, it was Record Store Day over the weekend, and the 2 albums that I wanted, Peter Gabriel's PG, his music that he's done for movies and soundtracks, and Emerson, Lake and Palmer's live album, both of which I didn't find. None of the record stores that I had checked out had any of them, which was a major bummer for me, but, you know, this is kind of what you do whenever you get into the record store day, and every time I figure, okay, I'll leave an hour earlier than the year previous, try to get a good place in line. So, like, last year I was there for 9 when the place opened up at 10, and still didn't give me enough time. So I went out at 7 when the place opened up at 9, figuring the 2 hours difference would be a little bit better. Yeah, no, still I was like 50, 60 in the line. It was ridiculous. But anyway, I only picked up or managed to pick up 2 albums. And so the first one was the Mastodons, Stairway to Nick John. To 45, it's just Mastodon's take of Stairway to Heaven. yeah, I'll probably resell this one in all honesty. I know I'm not a big fan of the resellers, so I'm going to wait until like the big like exclusiveness dies down. So I'll probably sell this in a couple of months back to the record store that I purchased it from. I listened to it once. It doesn't do anything for me. I was really excited to hear Mastodon's take on Stairway to Heaven, but this was just kind of meh. And it's not really good enough to keep in my collection. So there's the Mastodons, Stairway to Nick John. And then the other one was the soundtrack to the Star Trek movie, the one that Chris Pine starred in, and Zachary Quinto. Love this soundtrack, and I'm so glad that they finally released it on vinyl. And it sounds fantastic. I freaking love this soundtrack. So yeah, that's about it. That's all the records. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, so I'm going to do my absolute best to not purchase any more albums for a while now. I'll probably put like a full stop, even though there's a few more albums that I want to pick up, but I'm like, nah, I gotta budget myself here, because that's a little ridiculous. I think that's all in a month's time, so yeah, I think it's time to scale back a little bit. But that's about it. So what did you guys think? What did you guys pick up for Record Store Day? What have you guys been purchasing over the spring? Let me know about all of that by commenting down below, and also let me know of your favorite get that I got below. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, you guys are definitely the best. And until next time, notes out.